Or what's the names? What I do?
Let somebody else. All right.
Well, it'd be good since you all are here. Why don't y'all get
He said he wants to see.
everybody?
Okay.
Look like we have 1,000.
All right.
You got 1,000.
You got 1,000.
We got Elizabeth Robinson in the house. We know we're going to win. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Tyrone Hanna, and I'm talking. My name is Tyrone Hanna, and I'm from Drive for a Change in the Palm Beaches. I'm here to introduce a couple guys that talk to say something positive about the community.
Good evening. Danny Barnett, just state the name. But the issue of gun violence, with the holidays and it seems every year we have holidays in the summertime, it's a situation of gun violence. Just what I do, reach out to the youth, at Firehouse Park a few years ago, started a chance with sports basketball. And through that outlet, over the years, with that team, certain people in the area doing drugs, gang activity, it dispersed. They had respect for what was going on with the kids. If we had guidance for a lot of these younger youth, really get to what it takes, and I stay preaching where it takes a village to raise a child. If we reach out back to these youth and guide them, and it's really letting them know, some of the things that work in the streets through the music, whatever they may be viewing through the media, the hustle in the streets not there how it used to be. They can't drop out of school and see money. It's harder trying to live the life of a gangster right now. But far as that shooting and the violence, that's not the way to go. Every gangster can tell you they get to an age, every killer gets to an age, and they tell you they look like I said it wasn't worth it, and they can't go by it. Let's not wait till our future gets to that point in that age of late 30s or early 30s saying that it wasn't worth it. Let's get them to the ages where they're coming out of elementary and high school early and correct what the media putting out in the industry of music and art or whatever it is they, inspiring. We just reach out to them and it takes a village.
All right, what's the names? Community organizer here in Palm Beach. As far as the issue of gun violence in our cities, I don't want to so much just focus in on the youth. I think that so many times we focus on the behavior of the fish. We don't actually talk about the condition of the water that they're in. And I'm not into, I really don't want to spend a lot of time talking about more behavior analysis. This is about power analysis. This is about the conditions of these cities. We're talking about lack of education. Usually in these cities, they don't have the best schools. We're talking about lack of jobs and opportunities. Let's really look at what the conditions are and not so much focus on the behaviors. So I'm calling a challenge to, of course, the youth, but mainly to the communities, to our local city officials, to our organizations that are in cities, to the urban leagues, to the nonprofit organizations. Let's really ask ourselves, what are we really doing? I'm not saying that the efforts aren't being put in, but are these efforts really relevant today in 2016 and 2017? Should we be listening more to those who are on the ground and not just having fancy meetings and organizations talking to other organizations? We really need to have some real conversations. And once again, not about just the behaviors of these youth, but about the conditions surrounding them. Let's have some real conversations and some real touches there. Appreciate it. Okay, I guess the mic got here at the last second, but that's what I really want to harp on is really that, the fish versus the lake. We keep talking about the fish, and people come in with analysis about the fish. Let's talk about the lake. Let's talk about the conditions of these cities, the conditions that folks who are growing up in these cities are going through. Lack of education, lack of financial opportunities. Let's really have some ongoing and some real conversations, not just the stuff that make us feel good. I appreciate it.
Good evening. My name is Marvell Saffold. I'm the founder of Living Peace Movement. And in the 2 minutes that I was told that I had, I really can't get out everything that's on my heart. And first, I want to say rest in peace, Caleb Denard. And we lost Riviera Beach, a 37-block city, 8-mile radius. And you know, it's a lot going on in this city, and it's a lot of people that got to be held accountable, from starting with the parents, the root, you know, to city council, to these police officers. You know, we look at these presidential elections and all that, but we affect, you know, the community. We have to come together as a community and support each other, and we have to learn to pay for our peace and find ways to build visions. You know, without a vision, we all will perish. And you know, I want to challenge me. I come from the streets. I come from, you know, the things I've done some things that I regretted, but you know, I was able to make it out of that, and I switched myself over. But I want to challenge my old partners or whatever that's in the streets to, you know, to just take in one of these little cats that you see around here doing what they're not supposed to. Just take them in as a little brother, just one of them. You know, help us fund some of these visions that we have, because a lot of visionaries around this community, and we don't have the funds. But if you know you guys gonna do what y'all do, then do that. But at least if y'all not gonna advocate with us, then help us fund our visions for it, so we can help your sons, your daughters, your nieces and nephews, so we don't have another Caleb Denard. And like I say, it's a hard thing, and you know, in the little time that we have, it's a lot. It's a lot, and we're gonna start a round table meeting every week. Mayor Masters blessed us with a location at Lindsay Davis Center, and we will be there meeting every week. So if you want to come out and you want to, you know, lay your vision out on the table, is all welcome. We have to, just like Daniel said, it's gonna take a whole village to raise these kids. Thank you.
I would like to introduce Mayor Masters. Thank you.
I'm going to ask our guests behind this to just come closer in, because we want to show that this is a united front. I am thankful to have all of you who are in attendance tonight. First of all, let's give our young people a hand. Give our young people a hand. I know that if our problems are going to be solved, they're going to be solved with our youth taking the lead. As in any movement in this country, it was the youth, whether it's the women's right to vote, whether it was the civil rights, whether it was the Vietnam War, the list goes on and on. It wasn't until the young people got involved that brought about the necessary laws and changes in this country. And we have some other guests who are with us tonight. I'd like to, just one by one, briefly, if they would just come and state their name, if they're with any organization, or give a statement. We want to entertain that at this time. We'll start with young lady here. You would like to have something to say and share a second or two with us?
Yes, my name is Angel Williams. I'm in the HIV organization and also the American Legion Post 199.
Yes, my name is Francine Ralph. I'm with the African American Cultural Arts Organization, and just glad to be a part of the solution.
My name is Deborah Arnold. I'm with the African American Cultural Arts Organization, and we're community-based here in Palm Beach County, and we are participating in whatever it is necessary to bring a solution to the problems that we are currently facing with our youth.
Good afternoon. I'm Elizabeth Robinson, and I'm also with the Cultural Arts Organization as well as the Minority AIDS Initiative Network. And I'm delighted to see that our mayor is calling the young people together to ask them, what can we do to assist them? Since it's our problem, they're our children, and it's our fight, we want to be in it. And thank you for calling this meeting, Mayor.
Good evening. My name is Leslie Pinder. I'm from Help Agency of Florida, Inc. We are a relatively new organization, and what we're doing, we're targeting young people, testing them, evaluating them, and placing them in the appropriate STEM programs, that is science, technology, engineering, and math. We truly feel that education is the way out, and we don't just mean going to school and learning about Christopher Columbus and writing an essay. We're talking about getting technologically advanced, learning real statistics, and I am sorry that we did not follow Obama's initiative about 7 years ago. Obama wanted to send our children to school for 6 days out of the week and only give them 2 weeks vacation, and parents revolted against that. And I feel had we done that, we would have been seeing these children more often, we would have had more time with them, we would have had a chance to get inside their psyche. So what Help Agency of Florida is doing, we are testing children from very young. We are testing them to see what fields they should put into, because if a child is taught, okay, you have a special gift with assembling Lego blocks and later on being an engineer, well then, of course, we want to stay in that right direction. And once you feel as if you're appreciated and loved, that child is not going to think about going into the street and getting into problems. And then that brings us to the second half of our mission. We will also be helping people or ex-cons or ex-felons who have been through the system and now they need to get their civil rights reinstated. I don't know if you all are aware, but you probably are. The state of Florida is the only state in this nation that when an ex-felon has done his time or paid his dues or fees or whatever, his civil rights are not automatically reinstated. You know, sometimes being feminist to say his, because criminals can be male and female. So they actually have to apply to the governor of Florida to get that reinstated. And sometimes it takes a lot of money. By the time you go through your fingerprints and your Florida Department of Law Enforcement report and all the things, I think it runs into about $300. So we will be doing that also. So you want to catch someone they're very young to stop them from getting into crime. And then after, if they get in trouble and they need to get a chance to truly start over so they can come out and vote, they can be productive for their families. We will be helping them to get their civil rights reinstated. Thank you very much.
All right. We know that's very important because as we call them, returning citizens.
Yes.
Often when they come home, our returning citizens cannot get a job, they can't go to college, education, they can't get public housing, they can't get any assistance because of their background. And so we're working on the ban the box as well as getting their rights restored. Let's give everyone a hand who have come tonight. All right, Mr. Hammond, you're going to have to take your camera over there a little bit. We don't want to put your camera around the world. Actually, a few days ago, I asked the city manager, the interim city manager, captain from our police department, Roseanne Brown, Valerie Grimsley, I think that was the entire delegation from the Youth Empowerment, to go with me because I wanted to look at some of the best practices in the country. And Philadelphia and Camden seem to be two cities that have some very good practices, best practices, that have really done some amazing work with gun violence in their cities. And perhaps in a few weeks you're going to hear about some new initiatives that will be coming forth from our city. But let me just say happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, although we're daily, happy Kwanzaa. And this is the first day of Kwanzaa. And Happy New Year to all. And if I missed anyone, seasoned greetings. Okay? I wrote this speech actually a day ago. I was just writing a little bit here, a little bit there. So if I tend to look at it, it's only because I don't want to miss a word. So I'm not used to looking down too often. I like to look you right in the eye. So if I reflect down, it's because I want to make sure I get it right. It seems this time of the year, our thoughts naturally focus on peace on earth and goodwill to all people. As we celebrate the holidays with our families and friends, let us not ignore that gun violence is exploding all around us. Our young people in particular are being shot and killed, and the spirit of revenge seems to be the driving force. My heart is broken. My spirit is grieved. My entire being is troubled to see these acts of violence that are taking their toll upon our youth. Yes, I've had several sleepless and restless nights. Been at the hospital with families in the last few days. Certainly I can sense the pain that several of our parents are feeling. And I say we must band together now to end it. My fellow residents and neighbors, the question is, are we going to be a spectator or a participator for peace, love, and unity in our community? Are we going to sit back and watch these senseless acts of violence unfold? Or will we seek ways and means to create an environment of peace in our neighborhood? I've been sitting here thinking and praying about this entire situation. So first, let me say this. My mind goes back to, as many would say, back in the day. I know Ms. Robinson would say back in the day. That day and time when I was growing up, just a few days ago. But I remember it was a time when we all had a sense of real community. We knew our neighbors. Our neighbors looked after one another, looked after each other's children. We recognized who was a stranger when we saw them on our block. Back in the day, our children had to go to church or Sunday school. It was a day when we respected our parents or expect a backhand at any given moment. Y'all remember that day, right? It was a day where we had to be in by dark. It was a day even when our teachers would bring us home to face our parents. As my mother would say, if we cut up in class, they would send us home. They'd go with us. It was a day where we knew the police officers on the blocks. For many times, they would get out of their cars and play tag football or basketball with us, as several right now are doing with Marvell and Danielle at the park around the corner. Yes, that was the day, back in the day, when the police officers would walk the block and they knew us and we saw them as a welcome force of protectors in our neighborhood. Finally, back in the day, if we did fight, we did not fight to kill. We didn't fight with guns or weapons of mass destruction. The fight would last a few minutes. And many times the two parties would even make up and become the best of friends. Whatever happened to those good old days? Back in the day. Can we work together? Can't we work together to make a sincere effort to revive and restore the good old days? Restore that sense of real community that we had back in the day. Restore it right here in Riviera Beach, block by block, and every block. Not just in Riviera Beach, but in our neighboring cities as well. I take this moment to suggest that we as parents, as a young man said, the fish in the sea, we as parents and adults, can we not work together to help our community, to help law enforcement and others to take back our streets, to recreate the secure feelings we experienced back in the day? In order to accomplish this, we must include some very important input from one group who can probably help the most, and that's our young people. That's why I've asked them to come tonight, and they're going to be engaged on a week-to-week basis in our neighborhoods, in the parks, all over this city. they're going to help lead this fight. I'm going to support them. You know, they know more than perhaps any other group about the real causes of many of the problems that we are experiencing with gun violence. Will you help? And they're here tonight, and they said, yes, we're going to help. To the parents, grandparents, and I recently became a great-grandparent, I offer the following. 1, please know where your children are at all times. Get to know your children's friends and their friends' parents. 2, try to have adult supervision for your children as much as possible. When you cannot be at home with your children, enroll them, please, in one of our after-school programs, youth empowerment program, or one of our parks and recreation program. 3, and this is very important, and our parents did this back in the day, continue to inspect your house for anything, and you know what I'm talking about, for anything that does not belong in your house. You might be surprised, but you might find under the beds and even in the cars. 4, very important, the minute that you notice a negative change in your child's behavior or attitude, please seek professional help. Trust me, we can all use some help as we seek to guide our children through these tough and challenging times with drugs and guns seemingly to be all around. You know, I heard one of my foreparents saying that we're not fathers because we can make a baby, but we are fathers when we can take care of a baby. Let me assure you, as I come to a conclusion, law enforcement would use every available resource and more to keep the peace. Can't tell you everything that they're going to do, but just note, the curfew laws of our city, the city of Riviera Beach, will be strictly enforced. Checkpoints and other precautionary and security measures may be implemented. And if I had my way, I'll stop everything moving. Drivers of vehicles who scheme to come into our city from other neighboring communities to shoot and kill our youth and others, be warned. We will take every necessary and legal means to keep you out, point blank. Our entry and exit points will be secured. In other words, our borders. Smile. You might be on candid camera. A good thought to keep in mind is you never know when you might be stopped or searched. So just don't do anything wrong. Then you don't have anything to worry about. In conclusion, if you see anything or hear anything out of the ordinary, please pick up the phone and report it anonymously. Then hang up. Just hang up without any questions asked. We want to protect your identity. The hotline number is 561-845-4123. I repeat, 561-845-4123. Please stay tuned as other announcements will be made in the next few weeks to inform you and to seek your cooperation and support as we all work together, work with the law enforcement, our young people, our community leaders, as we continue actions to stop the violence, start the healing, save our children, and give peace a chance. And remember, we are stronger together. Thank you.
For elections, and that's the 10, and there will be
I think they know anything that wisdom has to do with purpose.